Welcome to Organisational Behaviour with Siphiwe Moyo. I've always thought academic principles are boring. I've spent a lot of time teaching at business schools, and I've taught at 4 business schools in the world. And I've also been an HR specialist, an organisational behaviour specialist. But I've always wanted to create conversations where we can make these things accessible, right? And we can talk about how do you use academically sound principles of behavioral science, of organizational behavior to actually help us lead in the workplace. And I've always thought there's just this gap between practice and academia. And I'm just here to bridge this gap. So welcome to the channel. Stick with me, baby. My name is Siphiwe Moyo. And today we want to talk about how do we sustain the positive emotion that comes from positive experiences in the workplace. I'm privileged. I often go around the world to talk at conferences. And after conferences, executives and senior managers often call me and say, Siphiwe, the morale is absolutely amazing. I wish we could sustain it though. It turns out there is a way to sustain it. And for me, it was so exciting to understand this particular research that I want to talk to you about today. If you can imagine this with me, I think it was the 27th of October 2022, and I'm watching the T20 Cricket World Cup. There was a game that was playing. Bangladesh was playing against South Africa, and Riley Rousseau, the batter for South Africa, scores this huge 6, right? I know people who don't know cricket are like, what's that? So a 6 is the biggest shot in cricket. So Riley Rousseau scores this big 6, goes straight to the stands, and this young man, looks like a teenager, has this beautiful catch that he catches. Immediately after that, he takes his phone and he takes a selfie with the ball, throws the ball back into the pitch. Didn't even waste time. He has a memory for life. But something magical was also happening there. He has a memory, but he will also reminisce on that moment for the rest of his life, which means he will sustain that positive experience. So what can we learn from children about sustaining positive emotions in the workplace? Yes, we have an event, we have an employee engagement event, we have a motivational speaker, but how do we sustain it? And it turns out there's research around this, and it's understanding the research around savoring, that we need to think about increasing that anticipatory positive emotion and then savor the moment, but also reminisce after the event. So I want to talk to you about what are some of the things that we can do before, during, and after the event to be able to sustain those positive experiences and positive emotions that we get from these experiences. And unlike adults, children often know how to do this. I don't know about you, but when my daughter has a trip at school, she tells me about it 3 weeks before. I'm looking forward. Is it time yet? That anticipatory savoring then means before the event, she's already enjoying the event. She's enjoying during the event, but she'll also spend some time reminiscing about the event post. So it turns out if we can be able to do that anticipation, savoring and reminiscing, we will sustain these positive experiences in the workplace. And I think many of us don't do this very well. And for me, savoring is an area of research that I love. I'm very interested in this because what savoring is about is that it's mentally stretching out that positive event. You stretch it out. You benefit from that experience before, during, and after. And that's exactly what I was saying. University of Chicago researcher, I think the name is Fred Bryant, and his colleagues have been studying the phenomenon of savoring for a very long time. And it's a research that I'm very interested in as an organizational behavior specialist. Because as I said, I go in these organizations around the world, I speak, I have an employee engagement session, employee morale session, and I think I do help improving the morale. But what happens after that? And I think if we want to learn how to sustain that positive emotion, we need to think very carefully. So let's start with before the event. So you have a big conference that is coming up, but you want to benefit from during. What are some of the things that you can do before the event to sustain that positive emotion? So if you create, for example, challenges where employees can rehearse songs, shoot videos towards this. I spoke at a conference, I think it was 2017, one of those conferences that stayed with me for a very long time. I remember entering this conference venue. The employees, before they entered the venue, they would sing certain songs, and you would kind of know outside the event that this particular region is singing that song. This particular region is singing that song. They had been rehearsing those songs before the event. So there's a huge anticipatory positive emotions that they benefit from rehearsing those songs, from shooting those videos, from planning an event and creating these challenges. So you can benefit from that by doing certain things before the event. And during the event, well, you can have your conference, you have great speakers, but you document whatever. So you document those videos, you take a lot of photos, you make sure that people are fully present to savor the moment and create a really good event. I think most of us are really good at that. We plan our events very, very well. So I'm not going to spend time in the during. But what can we do after the event is another thing. So we need to create ways, intentionally create ways. One, to reminisce about the event. So maybe 2 months after the event, 3 months, we have another event, and we literally reminisce about that event. When we do that, we access the same positive emotions that we had at the event. Let's reminisce, oh, people are laughing again. That video, when you were doing that, suddenly we are sustaining that positive experience. But what it also does, it shows that you thought a lot about what should happen after, and you can start measuring the impact of that particular intervention that you did. Many people are just tired of these talk shops. But if you think about what you're going to do before, during, and after the event, also you raise the level of your conference where people know that there's something that is going to happen. So today, what am I saying? We must use the psychological principle of savoring in organizational behavior to sustain the positive emotions that we get from positive experience. So thank you so much for joining me. If you've liked this particular video, please thumbs up, please subscribe to the channel, and keep joining me. You know, I'd love to just chat to you. Let me know if this particular content works on the comments below. Let's interact. Let me know if you think you can apply it in the workplace or in your life general. I'd love to interact with you. And if you want to contact me, I'm a location agnostic professional speaker. Just go to my website, is siphiwemoyo.com, and the website will be right here on the description. I'm looking forward to engaging you.